In this video, we're going to focus on central tendency by category. So before we already covered contingency tables, which is the relationship between two categorical variables, and we also covered correlations, which are the relationship between two scale variables. So what happens if you have a scale variable and a categorical variable and you want to find the relationship between those two? What you could do is find the central tendency by each category in your categorical variable. And in this video, we're going to focus on means because that's the focus of the course later on, is on means versus medians and modes. So we're just going to focus on means by category.
So before you get the means by category, you need to reformat the data. Okay? So here we have two variables. We have gender, which is a nominal variable. It's categories that aren't ordered. Then we have height. This is a scale variable. So what we want to do is get the average height of females and the average height of males. So we have two categories, female and male, and we want the average height for each of those categories. So we're going to reformat the data. So our first person here was female and they were 64 inches. So now we're going to put two columns that are the categories now instead of the variables. So as I said, the first person was female and 64 inches. The next person was female and 63 inches. The next person was male, so it's going to go in the other column, and they were 68 inches. The next person was male and 72 inches. And we're going to go back to the next person was male and 70 inches. And then the last person was female and 65 inches. So over here we have the data formatted by variable. And then over here we reformatted it to be by category. And these categories are also called samples. So we can have a female sample and a male sample. So it's just like we have two different populations and we take a sample from each of those. So we have this female population and this male population, and we take a sample from each of them. Sometimes they're also called levels. The categories are also called levels, or sometimes they're also called factors. So just depending on what kind of statistical test you're doing, you might call each of these categories by a different name. It could be samples, levels, or factors. You can also make a table of the means. So here was our data before, and we reformatted it here. And so the mean for the females is 64, and the mean for the males is 70. So we can put our female here and our male here, then the means here. And usually when we have a means, we usually report the standard deviations with them. So the standard deviation for the females is 0.58, and the standard deviation for the males was 1.15. Here's an APA style table of means and standard deviations. So if you notice some things about it, we're usually going to have more than one scale variable in our study, so we're going to usually display means for more than one scale variable at a time. And the N indicates sample size, the M means mean, and the SD means standard deviation, and all these are italicized. And then you notice that we have it separated by males and females. And that ends this video.